Thì hôm nay nhá là con sẽ nghe cái chuyện Mai An Tiêm, xong là con sẽ kể lại, nhớ con kể lại, đồng ý không? Bắt đầu đi.
Once upon a time, King Hung adopted a son named Mai An Tiêm. He was very smart, and the king really loved him. One day, during a royal banquet, the king ordered a servant to give Mai An Tiêm delicious food. However, Mai An Tiêm refused it and told the servant, "What is given is actually a debt." "Here is the king's gift for you, your majesty." "What is given is actually a debt." The next morning, the king asked about what Mai An Tiêm said at the banquet. Mai An Tiêm said, "Your majesty, the only things that really matter are those we can do on our own." King Hung was very angry. Although he loved his son, he decided to send Mai An Tiêm to a deserted island. As soon as Mai An Tiēm's wife heard about the punishment, she started to cry. "Don't worry, we can live on our own. Someday we will be able to return to the mainland," Mai An Tiêm said. The couple packed clothes and food for their journey.
What will we do to survive?
"Everything will be fine, my dear." When they reached the island, Mai An Tiêm turned a cave into their house. He felt sorry for his wife, but he believed that they could find a way to live happily there. The next day, while Mai An Tiêm and his wife were fishing along the shore, they saw a flock of birds eating a strange fruit. Mai An Tiêm walked closer. He saw the birds had left behind black seeds and took them home to plant.
If the birds can eat these, we can eat them too.
The couple happily watched the seeds sprout. They took care of the plants every day. Their garden gave them hope for the future. One day, they saw a flock of birds come and eat the green, unripe fruit from their garden. They did not chase them away. After the birds flew away, the couple picked up all the seeds that were left. Mai An Tiêm believed the birds had eaten the best fruit. A few months later, the fruit was ripe. Mai An Tiêm cut a fruit and found it very juicy and sweet. He decided to name it watermelon, or dua hao in Vietnamese. One day, he decided to carve his name into a fruit rind and throw it into the sea. He hoped someone would catch the fruit. Year after year, Mai An Tiêm carved his name on the fruit rind and threw it into the sea. His wife told him to stop, but he kept doing it. He didn't want to live on the island forever. One day, a fishing boat came near the island. When they pulled up their net, they found a fruit with Mai An Tiêm carved on it. The fishermen came to the shore and found Mai An Tiêm growing this wonderful fruit. After that, Mai An Tiêm traded the fruit for rice and salt from the fishermen. When they arrived on the mainland, the fishermen took the fruit to the village market. All the villagers loved the fruit. Word spread about the new tasty fruit from the island. King Hung also tasted the fruit and found it delicious. He wondered who had planted it. King Hung was shocked to hear that his son was still alive and was ashamed that he had sent Mai An Tiêm to the island. The next day, the king decided to bring the couple back to the mainland. Mai An Tiêm picked all the ripe fruit to bring back with him. He also brought seeds to the mainland. He wanted to share
Ôi
the
thằng
fruit
lên.
with everyone and teach them how to grow it. Since then, watermelon has been the symbol of luck in Vietnam. People often choose it as one of 5 fruits to place on the ancestor altar on Tet holiday.
Nào. Kể đi. Có kể lại được không?
Được.
Được à? Thì kể đi.
The legend of watermelon. Once, upon a time, King Hung adopted a son that named Mai An Tiêm. He was very smart, and the king really loved him. One day, during the royal banquet, a king ordered the servant to give Mai An Tiêm delicious food. But Mai An Tiêm refused it and told the servant, "What is given is actually a debt." The next morning, the king asked about what Mai An Tiêm said at the banquet. Mai An Tiêm said, "Your Majesty, the only things that we have to know are those that we can do on our own." King Hung was very angry. Although he loved his son, he decided to send Mai An Tiêm to a faraway, deserted island. As soon as Mai An Tiêm's wife heard about the punishment, she started to cry. What does Mai An Tiêm do then? "Don't worry," said Mai An Tiêm. "We can live on our own. Someday we'll be back to the mainland." So the couple packed clothes, food for the journey. When they reached the island, Mai An Tiêm and his wife turned a key into the house. So Mai An Tiêm felt sorry for her wife, but he believed that they could find a happy way to live there. One day, while Mai An Tiêm and his wife were fishing near the shore, he saw the birds eating a strange fruit. He saw the flock of birds eating a strange fruit. After the birds had eaten the fruit, Mai An Tiêm took them. He saw that the birds had left behind the black seeds. He took them home to plant. And so on. They took care of the plants every day. The garden gave them hope for the future. Why can't the birds eat the best fruit? One day, the couple saw the birds eating unripe fruit. It was green. It did not chase them away. Inside the fruit, there were some black seeds, and the red pieces. Inside the red pieces was water, and it was the melon. So Mai they might eat the best fruit. One day, Mai An Tiêm decided to carve his name into a fruit rind and threw it into the sea. He decided to name it watermelon, or dưa hấu in Vietnamese. So, he hoped someone will find it. Years and years and years and years and years. He carved some fruit rinds that was ripe and threw it into the sea. His wife told him to stop, but he kept doing it. He did not want to live in the ice forever. One day, a fishing boat came near the shore. When the fishermen pulled up the net, they found the fruit rind with Mai An Tiêm carved on it. When they came near the shore, they found Mai An Tiêm growing this wonderful fruit. So, Mai An Tiêm traded the rice and salt for a fisherman and his crew. So, the fishermen and the crew decided to bring the fruit back to the mainland. Everyone in the village loved the fruit. Word spread about the new tasty fruit come from the island. King Hung also tasted the fruit and found it delicious. He wondered who had planted it. His servant told that Mai An Tiêm had planted it. He was shocked, and he heard that Mai An and his son was still alive and grew the best fruit. So he was ashamed that he had sent Mai An Tiêm to the island. The next day, the couple, this King Han, decided to bring the couple back to the mainland. Mai An Tiêm teach them how to grow them, and he take all the things that he lived in the cave to bring back with him. He also brings watermelon seeds back to him. He teach the villagers how to plant watermelon and share the watermelon with them. Since then, watermelon has been the luckiest fruit in Vietnam. Also, the Vietnamese citizens had found it for the ancestor altar on 10th holiday.
Hết chưa?
Rồi à?
Yeah. Rồi, ok.